And talking about straightening your hair, I think at some point in time, I can't remember exactly when, I think they ended up having to pass a law that now you can wear your hair as a black woman. You can now be able to now wear your hair the way you were born, as it grows from your root. They had to pass the law.
So we need permission.
Wow.
We needed permission because
To be black.
Yes, because in certain workplaces you couldn't go in with your hair curly. You couldn't go in with your natural afro.
Yes.
But that is the natural hair that you have.
Yeah.
No other way. They needed it to either be straightened or braided. Something, they call it. It has to be nice and neat. Looking presentable.
Yeah.
The legal system,
be presentable.
like that as well.
Wow.
You can't go stand in front of a judge with an afro.
Where?
Yeah. Yeah.
So have you watched? We're talking with Viola Davis.
Yes.
How to Get Away with Murder.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. And they spoke about it in that show, where you could not come in there with an afro. You have to be presentable, or they will not even accept you in the court. You can't walk into the court with an afro. No.
Yeah.
Curly hair, maybe curly like this.
Yeah.
Or straight, but afro, no. Parliament, one of the MPs that I know, she told me this personally. She was wearing black power earrings, and they told her to take them off. You can't wear that as an MP, not when you're standing in Parliament. You're not allowed to do that. So there's little things like that, and she's a lighter skinned woman as well. Right?
Oh yeah, for sure. And there's not a lot of us in Parliament as it is.
You're not
right.
To show
so
any
all the
type
barriers,
of, right. So
Blackism.
I'm speaking about that. Let's talk about the corporate world. Even with that, how are we seeing it in the corporate world? How are we seeing with colorism? Do we feel? I don't know. For me, I've never really experienced. I've experienced it just as racism. Like you're black, and that was it, right? I've never personally experienced. Maybe you guys have, where it was like you had maybe a light skinned coworker. You saw kind of getting preferential treatment, or I don't know. I've never experienced it personally. I was just, you're black. So
yes.
you're not getting the treatment.
Yeah. I definitely have experienced that. But
So then, what would you say? The difference. between colorism and racism. Where do you draw the line then?
Right.
I think racism is, one race feeling that they are superior than another. So it could be the Caucasian race against the African race or the black race and whatnot. So you have to draw the line there. And then when it comes to colorism, it is within a particular race now beginning to classify according to the shades. So you are this particular shade. So you are just a shade lighter, and then the next shade, and then you continue, and you just all the way to black.
Yes.
Right? And then from there, now you begin to classify individuals based on, okay, so this one is beautiful and this one is not so beautiful. So depending on where you fall on that particular spectrum, then that's how you're classified.
Yeah.
You're more beautiful. If you look at you, wow, that brown girl.
Right. And just a black girl. You said not really. Why did you say that?
Well, let's take, you talk about the corporate world. All right, you have two black girls coming in. One has, is more experienced in terms of education and all that. The other one just barely passed through. Let's say, okay, let's use her being the darker skin. Say she's got master's or PhD, and you only have a certificate or a diploma, right? It's black, and I'm black, and I'm hiring you, or I'm white and I'm hiring you. What do you think I'm going to choose? She's more experienced than you.
Well, we would hope that people would make the right decision, right? But unfortunately, it doesn't always happen that way. It doesn't.
It doesn't. And sometimes even comes down to your name.
Yes.
Oh, for sure.
Right.
For sure.
They may see your resume and it's just because of your name, they're like, she's black. Nope.
Yes.
Right. Being Simone Jennifer Smith, for me, my name's kind of like
white.
It's in the middle. It's not as exotic. I don't have an African name. I'm sure I do somewhere, but I don't have. But putting my resume in front of there, now they'll bring me in because they see Simone Jennifer Smith. But then they see me and they're like, oh, nope.
Yeah, this isn't what I was expecting. And, then they have all their ideas of what a black woman is. Is she going to be angry? Is she going to be rude?
Yes.
Is she going to be too outspoken? And I think that you're going to get that, you know, the darker you are, the more that stereotype is probably going to play in their head, because the stereotype of the angry Black woman is usually a darker skinned woman.
I think for me, I'm not sure, maybe perhaps I've been completely oblivious to what is going on, but I would like to think that I've been lucky so far not to have experienced that, at least not outright. In fact, I think I've gone to a few interviews, and the selling point has always been my accent. Yeah. Oh wow, that's a beautiful accent. Where are you from? And suddenly you begin to strike up a conversation, and I happen to just be called in for the second interview, and then to continue through the process. So really, I can't really speak to perhaps having gone through that. So unless somebody else has, but I know I have heard of individuals saying that they have been overlooked for certain positions. Just based on the fact that they were perhaps a different shade, a darker shade.
I have to say I haven't experienced it either, and it's more just the racism that I've seen. And one of the things I will say about the corporate world, at least in Toronto, is it's very white, you know, and so and I think that, you know, right now they're at a point where maybe they're trying to be more diverse, they're trying to be more inclusive, but that's going to take a lot of work because the corporate world has been white forever, right? And so I think that they're trying to be a little bit more open-minded, but that's gonna mean confronting all of the stereotypes. Absolutely. And I don't know how ready they are to really do that, you know, in a workplace setting.
I still think they played safe. They would still, I don't know. I still think they would be like, okay, if we're going to hire between the two, if we see a Black woman coming with an afro and she's dark skinned and you can tell there's some strength to her, and then we'll have maybe a lighter skinned woman who maybe straightens her hair. Right?
Yeah, because it's the culture too. It's the workplace culture. But I would say if you have a dark skinned woman who is educated, well spoken, you know, and you know, just knows how to carry the interview well, I think she would still stand a good chance. Hopefully, like we're at that point where that would be how they would operate.
Depends on the nature of the corporate world. I mean, right? So if, for example, the clients that they're catering to is more WASPs, they would most likely choose a lighter skinned woman rather than the Black, because, you know, clients would much more feel comfortable dealing with a lighter version than a dark. So it all depends where. Yeah,
I think that's so true. Yes,
it's about the looks.
It's about the culture of the workplace. It's are you going to fit in the culture of the workplace?
I love how they say that though. It's almost like it's such a euphemism. The culture.
Yeah. You don't have to look weird.
Yeah, exactly.
Fit.
All these nice little things that they say, they make it like, just say you don't want me because I'm Black.
Oh yeah, they would never say that. They would.
They can't say that. You're right.
They can't say that. I'd like to think that I'm an optimist. That anytime I go into an interview, they're not necessarily looking at. Yes, they notice that I am a Black woman coming in, but they also interview me based on the merits. What am I bringing to the table? What are my qualifications? How rare am I for that particular position? Am I qualified enough? Look at that for me. And every time I go into an interview, that is how I carry myself. That I'm here, I can do this work, and that is why I applied for this particular position.
And so, no, Eve, I was going to ask you, and do you feel, because I know for myself, I'm one of the few Black women in my company right now, at a manager level anyhow. Yes. And do you kind of feel that extra pressure that you have to outperform other people or work extra hard to kind of leave a good impression for Black women, so that hopefully the next time they hire, it will change their mind a little bit? Like, I actually feel that burden and that pressure sometimes. I don't know if it's something you've felt.
I don't think so. It just so happens I think I chose a career field that not a lot of Black women are in necessarily. I think it has been very male dominated.
Right.
Caucasian men dominated. And so I haven't quite reached that point where I'm feeling that pressure just yet, because I think that my selling point has always been I can do the work. And so I don't want to feel like I have that burden to prove to carry that burden on of representing an entire group.
I know it's silly.
Right? And it's a huge burden to carry. And I really don't think that you should feel like that. I think that you should do the work that you are hired to do, and do to the best of your ability. Chances are there could be a Black woman out there who is better than you and can do it even better than you, you know, but you're not going to be the benchmark to measure every single Black woman that is coming up after you. So I don't think you should feel that pressure. I think you need to ease off, take it easy, and just work. Do your job and do to the best of your ability without feeling that pressure that, hey, you have to represent all the other Black women out there. Just do that, and then that speaks for itself. And perhaps in doing so, then now you're representing everybody else without feeling that pressure. So you're doing it just for you.
Absolutely, for sure. All right, ladies. Well, this has been an amazing, interesting conversation. And I think that we'll end on the positive note and say, you know, let's continue to empower and embrace our Blackness, and let's do it, you know, fearlessly.
Yes, absolutely. That's right.
Thank you for watching The Free Up.